Nico, date, marry, kill. Morning footy crew, Golazo Show crew, or the Champions League crew?
Oh, good one, good one.
Oh, putting you on the spot. Now he wishes he could freeze. Yesterday was packed with action, and we want to relive it. We're not done reliving this final day of the league phase in UCL. So with that, we're going to bring in our guy, Nico Cantor, to help us relive all of this action. Nico, dale. That was incredible to watch. How did yesterday go for you?
Yesterday was crazy. Honestly, I didn't know what to expect. Usually with the old format, you knew what you were getting into on Matchday 6 because you could anticipate, all right, there's only 2 other games within the group that you have to worry about. But because it's a league of 36 teams, you really don't know what you can get. It's like walking into a human experiment hours before. It was kind of eerie in the control room because we assigned, essentially how it works is that there's operators for the Golazo Show. They get 3 games each this time. Usually they get 2. So we kind of staggered their 3 games based on importance. So it was like this whole juggling act, and the crew did an amazing job. They absolutely killed it. Everybody in the back, everybody on camera. It went really well.
I think immediately about how much prep work you normally do for these shows. And you have this, honestly, if a detective saw it, they'd investigate you. But you have this spreadsheet that you create with all these little notes. How heavy was that printed out for this last one? It must have been insane for you to track all these different matches.
Bro, there was a time, I swear, that we were going to Aston Villa, and for the life of me, you see the papers right there. I couldn't find Aston Villa on my papers. I had no idea where that Aston Villa Celtic game was. And I'm like, Ollie Watkins, how many goals? How many goals did he see? And I couldn't find it. So I've learned a little bit. I'm going to visualize my papers. I'm going to put them out because I've got notes and nuggets and storylines and stats. It's impossible to memorize the stats for every single game. But now I've got a method, I think, for today. So I'm not so lost in trying to find a quick stat to give once the goal scorer gets that goal. But honestly, it was so crazy yesterday, and especially we wanted to hear a lot from Thierry, Jamie, and Micah, that I almost never got a chance to reflect something on my notes into the broadcast. So all that prep, the 7-8 daily hours of prep, I didn't, not all for nothing, but I barely had.
Nico, so it was the first time that we saw both of the Champions League crews come together, right? You had Jamie, Micah, Kate, and Thierry, but then Poppy came over with Nigel and Charlie. So how was the dynamic? Was there a little bit of a rivalry? Did they meet in the parking lot with pitchforks and go at it after, or was it pretty amicable?
Nigel's ready to go. Matteo, you know Nigel. Nigel's ready to go at any time. But it was funny because when we did that segment with everybody together, Jamie asked us a lot of questions about the Europa League. He was putting us on the spot. And my mind was like, I was trying to just refresh Europa League a little bit. I was like burned out from Champions League. And when he asked me, who did Galatasaray play? I forgot it was Ajax for a moment. And Charlie fired back. He went quick. They play Ajax. And this person plays this person and this person. And I was like, whoa, Charlie, you got my back, baby. Let's go. That's when you know who your ride or dies are. So it was great fun.
All right, Nico, so now having lived this last match day 8 and all the craziness around it, do you like this new format of the Champions League, or are you kind of pining for the past and the group stages and 6 groups of 4, or was it more than that now? It's a lot more than that.
It was eight groups of 4.
Yeah, but having sometimes some of it on the last match day, it already being determined what was going to go down and maybe lack the excitement of what we saw yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to make a judgment call. Alexis knows that from day one on the show, I've been saying I want to see several iterations of this play out. We're going to get another iteration of it play out today, and it might just as well be or more dramatic than yesterday's finish. We got a crazy start yesterday, but I felt like the finish, it needed a little bit more. Maybe that Barcelona goal to go top of the table, or a Bologna goal against Sporting to knock Sporting out and put Dinamo Zagreb into the knockout stage playoff. But you have teams like Lille, like Feyenoord, that maybe in a group of 4 wouldn't have made it out of the group stage. A team like Club Brugge, that is usually that team that always makes it to the Champions League, but never to the next stage. So we'll see how they do in the knockout round playoff. We'll see what type of round of 16 we'll get in. Obviously, I mean, you guys were talking about it in the previous segment, but those positions on the possible knockout round playoff, they're seeded. So 1 won't meet 8 until the final, and there's better matchups that 1 gets versus 8 in theory, right? So I want to see how that dynamic plays out in the knockout stage. So I'm not too sure. In a group of 4, when everything is sometimes even tighter, maybe you do get some crazy drama where you're just reliant on one game, and a goal here means that you got to go for it now. It was a little bit. I don't know if teams really knew where to look out for. Those teams that were on the cusp was like Dinamo Zagreb. What are we looking for? Are we looking for a Bologna goal? Are we looking for a Stuttgart goal? It felt like it was just all over the place. So obviously it was fun. It was an extraordinary format for Golazo Show. I won't complain. So I want to see this play out over the next couple of seasons to give you a final answer, Jimmy.
All right, I accept it.
Nico, one of my favorite things was, first half, City is down. They ended up halftime down by 1, and you kept coming to Micah hoping that he would give you a little bit of his personality, and we weren't getting anything from him, and you even made a comment about that. So were you happy to see City start winning a little bit just to get that Micah personality that we always see?
Yeah, we needed it because the next person to bring that energy, I feel like, is me. But there's Micah. We were witnessing something historic. Pep Guardiola has never not made the knockout stage. And when Bruges scored, we were a little bit on a delay, and I could hear people around the studio at AMG. There was like, oh, everyone was yelling. It was like this release of emotion. Like, people couldn't believe it. And the fact that they went 1 down and then they needed to win was kind of crazy. And it would have been a little bit somber for Micah. It would have been a little bit of a funeral post game, but it would have been something absolutely historic. And the way that City's playing, I mean, you guys will break it down throughout the show, but just the lack of urgency, the lack of commitment, the passing back and forth, no one dribbles. And having Thierry next to me, it was brilliant just to listen to him to explain the reasons as to why City are unable to break down opponents. He says that if a team sits down and just contains and keeps that distance and is organized, because City doesn't have anybody that is willing to dribble, to break those lines on their own, to have that audaciousness, that audacity to just kind of throw the script up in the air and say, I'll go, I'll do this, have that personality. They're unable to beat teams with ease. So, I thought from a football perspective, that was one of the better storylines. And City's going to continue to be a storyline this season.
For you, Nico, date, marry, kill, morning footy crew, Golazo Show crew, or the Champions League crew?
Oh, good one.
Oh, putting you on the spot. Now he wishes he could freeze.
I wanted to say F, marry, kill, but we're going to go with date, marry, kill.
Date, marry, kill. Ooh.
Uh-oh.
Oh, this is so difficult.
I feel like one of the decisions has been made for you, but I won't talk about that.
Is his ring on or not on?
I would date the morning footy team because Alexis would keep me all like laughing the whole time. Right?
Plus, I pick good restaurants. I pick great date spots.
Yeah, I'm not part of the UCL crew, match in, match out. So
You're gonna kill them.
I think they would have to hit the road and bite the dust, and I would have to marry the Golazo Show on Thursdays. Golazo Show, I see them every day. They're the ones that have been there from the beginning.
Wow.
So what was that? That was Mary? He'd marry?
Yeah.
Golazo crew?
Has a loose relationship with morning footy. Commits himself to Golazo.
But he mentioned you in particular.
League, yeah.
I think he wants to date you.
I'm the side piece now.
Yeah.
And then Champions League crew, put him on a boat with no oars and push him into the ocean. Wow. All right, Nico. Tough decision, but you made it.
We're going to end on that because I think Alexis would put you on the spot with something else, Nico. Thank you so much for joining us. I know you got a lot of prep to keep doing for today.